Since publishing my 5 steps to score 240 plus on the USMLE Step 1 video, I've received a ton of questions. And I thought, if some of you have those questions, then it must follow that others do, and you're just not asking them. So I thought I'm going to include 4 really commonly asked questions about the USMLE Step 1. Let's get right into it. What is up, guys? It's Sermon here from SMGV, and I am a doctor working in the UK. I've done the USMLE Step 1. I scored 241, just to be completely transparent, and I did it 2 years ago. Since then, I've been tutoring people, trying to help them get the same score or higher, just maximize their potential. And I've come up with 4 questions that many students ask me through my journey, so I thought I would share them here. So the first question is, when do I start studying? The answer, it depends, but you can never have enough time. You can waste time, but you can never have enough of it. So what I'd say is, whether you're 6 months out or 1 year out, materialize a date for the exam. Think in your mind, okay, if it's January, I'm doing it in December. If it's April, I'm doing it in January. And just once you have that materialized date, whether you've booked it or not, believe it. And it will start to give you pressure to study. There's something called Parkinson's principle, which basically means that a job will take as long as the time that you allow to get it done. So that's why if you've got a deadline in 2 months' time, you're not going to work as hard as if you've got a deadline in 2 hours' time or 2 minutes' time. Trust me, I've been there. So start early. What I would say is start with the theoretical stuff. Think about, the books, learning the underlying knowledge which will underpin the exam, so that once you come to the practice questions later on, you've got a solid basis to give them a go. Question 2. It's a completely opposite question 2. I don't have enough time. What do I study? This is a very, very, very complicated question. It's difficult to answer without any context of what kind of knowledge you have coming in. Now, what I would say in general is that if you have, say, 2 weeks, 1 month, I would start to think about getting as many questions in as physically possible. So the kind of strategy that I advise is do the questions. Once you get some very, very good nuggets of information that you don't want to forget, record them in flashcards and then use this kind of spaced repetition phenomenon to try and remember what's going on in the flashcards. If you have got no idea what I'm talking about, look up Anki. Anki is a fantastic flashcard software which will allow you to memorize way more information than you think you could. And it works not just for exams, it works for language learning and everything. Basically, it exposes you to information repetitively over a longer period of time, which engrades it into your long-term memory. So, to summarize, in the short term, MCQs, record information in flashcards, review them intensely, do mock papers, and then you'll be set for your exam. Third question, I don't know what study schedule to follow. This is such a common one, guys, and I can completely understand it because there are so many out there. What I would say is that there are a few principles which will let you identify whether something's a good study schedule, something's a bad study schedule. I have my own study schedule which has been used by others who say that they've done really well with it. I'm publishing it in my ebook, which is completely free, and I'm attaching the link below. Just here to help you guys, really give it to you in the most accessible way possible. Now, good principles of a study schedule is that it focuses on high yield sources. There are so many sources for the step one. You can get confused by them all. And, you know, you're going through Goldgens and like Kaplan's, like massive steps. You don't need to do all of that. You need a sufficient amount of theory to enter into the multiple choice questions. And then you just need to do as many questions as possible. That will underpin it. Now, what you define as a sufficient amount of theory will completely depend on your individual circumstance and what score you're aiming at. If you're aiming for kind of 270s, then you probably want to do a much more exhaustive study schedule. I can't comment on what the merits of that will be because I've not got the experience of doing it that extensively. But I'd say, you know, if you want to pass with an absolutely solid score, best strategy is use high yield theory, then dive right into the multiple choice questions. It's a multiple choice paper after all, so that will give you the best bang for your buck. Question 4. I've done a practice test and I scored 190. I'm very demoralized and I'm 5 or 6 months out from my exam. What do I do? So I'd say that the people asking this question have made one significant error, and I'm sure you can see it watching this. They did a practice paper before they were even prepared. Now, it's extremely important for this exam that you keep your motivation as high as possible. That's the thing that's going to drive you through. That's the thing that's going to keep you going on those long nights where, you know, you're getting messages from people asking you to go out and you have to stay in and study. And so, because it's such a valuable resource, do not do practice papers until you're ready for them. Don't do them until you've done enough theory and enough practice multiple choice questions on, say, UWorld to be able to give them a decent go so that they can reflect kind of roundabout where you may score on the actual test. Otherwise, you will demoralize yourself and you will not feel good about it. Now, if you have done it, then it's not irreconcilable. You basically just brush it off. Understand that's a baseline. It's something that you can improve on. And I guarantee you, once you do your main bulk of revision, your main bulk of testing, that your score will improve astronomically beyond your imagination. So that's all I've got time for today, guys. Get my ebook. It's got a bit of information, just a complete guide. You can pass it on to your friends, completely free, of course. And I will see you later. Let me know if you've got any questions. Peace out and good luck in your exams.